Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we only have one race actually here, and that is at Martinsville Speedway, just for the Cup Series for us in this number 20 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. So we're going to jump right into the action here with qualifying. I didn't have no Microsoft Flight Simulator or pit reporters for this episode or the last one because they're just timing, so unfortunately we don't have that, but we do still have the radio transmissions here today as we come through, starting our qualifying lap here at Martinsville Speedway as we went down this back straightaway into turns 3. It was actually a pretty solid turns 1 and 2, and a fairly decent turns 3 and turns 4. So we come down the front straightaway, crossing the line, beating our goal with a 19.657, and we go P4, which I believe that is our best qualifying effort so far in the Cup Series at what is arguably my best track now, as Denny Hamlin starts on pole. Matt Kenseth up there in P3. Now as you see, Ryan Preece rounds up the top 20. Jimmy Johnson had a solid qualifying effort as well. There you see Austin Dillon in 33rd. Quinn Hoff, though, down at the very bottom now, as we're ready to go green here for the Xfinity 500 at Martinsville Speedway. This track obviously has a lot of history for us in the NASCAR Heat career mode, back spanning the NASCAR Heat 3, where we won like 5 or 6 races at this racetrack through that career mode, and then in the NASCAR Heat 4 career mode, we only won 1 race, surprisingly there. But you see Brendan Gaughan starting at the back after crashing during qualifying, would have started back there anyways, and same for Chad Fincham, who failed optical scanning station multiple times now, as we're ready to get going here in the Xfinity 500 at Martinsville Speedway. Starting from the 4th position, Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, the 2020 dominators in real life, start on the front row as the green flag is now out, as we are underway on the outside of Matt Kenseth as we dive down into turns 1. The 7-time champion of Jimmy Johnson just behind myself, as we might have to watch out for him today here in Martinsville, a track that he's had so much success at in his career, and now this will be the second final time he visits this track. Obviously he'll come here one more time in the playoffs later this season, as we go down this back straightaway, able to get to the inside and dive up the inside of Kevin Harvick. So now we're going to move back up into that 4th position, like where we started here on lap 2. Now 31 laps here in this first and opening stage. Matt DiBenedetto just behind myself there. You're going to have to watch out for him, as he seems to actually have a little bit of speed early on here in the paperclip as we dive down into turns 1. But unfortunately, I was realizing that I quickly didn't quite have the speed that I was hoping for, as the AI, the top 3 drivers, started driving away from me a little bit now as this run went on. DiBenedetto, though, he was putting the pressure on myself as we came through now out of turns 4 on lap 13, starting to run down lap traffic. The car just feels way too loose, guys, on the exit of the corner, and it seems to be getting worse as we're going on, so I think we're going to have to work on that. There you heard the radio transmission from myself about kind of how the car was feeling, and you're seeing as these laps are going on, I'm getting looser and looser out of the corners, like right there now, as we're just behind Brendan Gaughan as we go down this back straightaway up the inside of him, as Hamlin is up on that outside lane trying to work his way through the lap traffic. Kenseth in the mix as well. Now obviously lap traffic is always our opportunity at Martinsville to get up into the mix now as we close into the back of Justin Haley. Truex up there as well, trying to put the pressure on Matt Kenseth to get second place, but it's all about traffic control at this point now. It's more like who's going to get lucky, but Truex, he would take the lead. Kenseth would also pass Hamlin, and Hamlin drops down to P3 after that whole mess. But they would actually drive away from us again. They got into a little bit of clean air, and they were away now, as Harvick is right on my back bumper now as we come through out of turns 2. Obviously, DiBenedetto no longer in that 5th position, putting the pressure on me. He fell down the order just a little bit, but we were once again, with 8 laps to go in stage 1, starting to run down the front 3, who were struggling once again with this lap traffic. Now as we come through out of turns 2, but in front of us in turns 3, Ty Dillon goes for a spin, collecting Eric Almirola, and then it's going to end up bringing out a caution. Chastain as well got a piece of that incident. So we come to the pit lane. I decided to make adjustments, knowing that the car was feeling a little bit too loose on the exit of the corner, trying to tighten it up a little bit now, as we actually gained 2 spots on the pit lane along with Kenseth, and we'll be on the front row now as the green flag is back out, and it's only going to leave us 5 laps to go here in stage 1. Unfortunately, though, starting on the outside, our chances of having a chance to win the stage are pretty low now, as Hamlin already up my inside, as Kenseth is clear going down the backstretch into turns 3, as he's looking for what I believe will be his first stage win of the season, as well as his first stage win, I think, in his NASCAR comeback now, as we go down this front stretch in towards turns 1. 4 laps to go on the stage, and then I leave the door open for DiBenedetto, who's going to fight up the inside. A little bit of contact, some door banging. It's Martinsville. You expect it now as we go down this back stretch into turns 3. Ryan Blaney as well getting into the mix here as we come through turns 3 and now to turns 4, approaching just 3 to go in stage 1. Side by side with that 12 car now as he lunges up deep up that inside as we come through the center of the corner, but it wasn't until out of turns 4 on lap 29 to where he cleared me. Then Truex with 2 to go gets up my inside as well as we dive down into turns 1. So just being stuck on this outside, I'm dropping like a rock. Clint Boyer gets up into the mix, but thankfully I get cleared in time by Truex to get up the inside. Now as we come through out of turns 4, approaching the final lap in the stage, we get right up on that quarter panel of Truex, trying to gain that position back here as we send it up the inside on this final lap in stage 1. And out of turns 2, we clear our Joe Gibbs Racing teammate of Martin Truex Jr. down this back straightaway into turns 3 for the final time here in stage 1. Matt Kenseth out of turns 4 is going to win stage 1 as I get into the outside wall actually on the exit of turns 4. We cross the line though, holding on to P5, and that contact with the wall really did not do much to the car at all now, as that was just really just cosmetics that we got out of that contact now, as nobody was pitting here at the end of stage 1 due to that pit stop we just had. Jimmy Johnson actually got P8 there as Bubba Wallace rounds out the top 10, so a point for Bubba Wallace. Also good to see he's actually been up in the playoff picture here lately, so we're gonna have to keep an eye on Bubba Wallace throughout the rest of this regular season. Matt Kenseth and Denny Hamlin, though, on the front row as the green flag is back out, and we are underway for the start of stage 2. One less lap that we had in stage 1 now, as we're up the inside of the 12 of the Penske driver of Ryan Blaney. But right now the story is kind of on Kenseth and Matt DiBenedetto, 2 drivers that aren't always running up front here in the career mode, but now here they are running 1 and 2. The last time we came to Bristol it was, we had a very similar scenario with Daniel Suarez running up front as well as Bubba Wallace now as we come through turns 1 and 2 up the inside now of our JGR teammate of Denny Hamlin as we try to take over that 3rd position now as he's doing everything he can. Hamlin has a very good car, but obviously I want to be in front of him, and out of turns 4 we get a very good launch on the exit of the corner, and now he's going to fight back though into turns 1 as we're side by side with 28 to go on the stage, but we get such a good center of the corner that time, and we clear Denny Hamlin for P3, and now we try to run down the next 2 drivers of Matt DiBenedetto as well as Matt Kenseth. But it seemed like second place was actually having a really hard time passing the leader, because I felt like DiBenedetto was faster than Matt Kenseth at this point in the race. But now we were running down lap traffic, so this brings us once again into the mix here on lap 12 of 30 in this second stage. Behind me, we now got Clint Boyer running in the 4th position. Hamlin has dropped down a little bit now as we come through turns 3 and out of turns 4. And then the car is actually starting to get a little bit free again at this point now as we dive up the inside of the 00. And I'm just kind of following Matt DiBenedetto through the traffic here, as well as Matt Kenseth down to the outside now of Chad Fincham into turns 1. And right here, I kind of get stuck in a little bit of a situation now where Gaughan's on the outside, Fincham's on the inside. But now as we go down towards turns 3, we get to the back of Brendan Gaughan actually there, as I kind of made a bit of a mistake now. And out of turns 4 though, we're going to be okay now as we dive to the inside of Brendan Gaughan there with just 15 to go. So we continue to once again run down this front 2 after we got past Brendan Gaughan, and Matt DiBenedetto would get to the inside of Matt Kenseth and take the lead over here in the paperclip at Martinsville Speedway. So Matt DiBenedetto leading late in stage 2. Can he hold on? But no, Kenseth on lap 18 now would get back up the inside of DiBenedetto as they're all going through this lap traffic, but they're putting on a great fight for the lead as well in the process as we go through turns 3, passing Timmy Hill, and we're once again closing in on the back of Matt DiBenedetto as we go down this front stretch now as we came through on lap 19. Now again, DiBenedetto goes up the inside of Matt Kenseth into turns 1, and now he is going to try to retake the lead after Kenseth retook it from him a lap or 2 earlier, and sure enough, DiBenedetto back to the front now as we go down towards turn 3. Great racing here for the lead now, as this obviously brings myself right into the battle now as we come through on 7 laps to go. DiBenedetto decides he's going to move to the top and try to pass the AI. I move Kenseth around a little bit. I get to the back of him and get to the inside here as we go down the back stretch into turns 3, but then I see John Hunter Nemechek slow right in front of me. But you see Bobby Carter, the driver that you would fully expect to be in the way, was refusing to let the leaders go as we go down towards turns 1, and I get to the back of Nemechek just a little bit. Bobby Carter would be the one, guys, who was holding us all up here. There you heard the radio transmission from myself there on that one as I get into the back of Kenseth. Hamlin actually forces it 3 wide. He gets into the picture. I didn't even realize he was coming. And now all of a sudden I get into Kenseth. Hamlin gets into me. And now he's going to get in front of us now, as I was certainly not a big fan of that move. So I get into the back of him a little bit to let him know how I felt about it. But you heard my comments there on Bobby Carter. We haven't had a great start to the season with Bobby Carter now as it came through, approaching the final lap of stage 2 at this point, and just nobody could go anywhere because we have 2 lanes occupied here. Blaney now into the mix as well as Martin Truex Jr. as we start the final lap now in stage 1. I give Kenseth just a little bit of a bump up. Bobby Carter in the way of everybody. He's continuing to go high, then he blocks the bottom, then he blocks high lane now as we go down the back straightaway into turns 3 for the final time in stage 2. I try to dive up to the outside, doesn't work because I'm sideways out of turns 4, and we also clip the wall. Blaney's going to get us there at the line because of that, and I cross the line P5 here in stage 2 as I also get into the back of Blaney after the caution comes out. So definitely not what we were quite looking for here in stage 2. Definitely still a great finish, don't get me wrong, but definitely felt like we could have been at the minimum P3 there. So definitely gave up a few spots and points there at the end. But now you see the rest of the order on your screen. Jimmy Johnson has fallen down the order just a little bit. So obviously we had to come to the pit lane now and make some adjustments with the tire pressures and whatnot, as well as we're going to fix the minor damage on the car now as we're going to get ready to go green for the third and final stage. Matt DiBenedetto is now a stage winner this season along with Matt Kenseth. They have both picked up playoff points today, and now DiBenedetto would love to hold on for a race victory for the first time in his Cup Series career now as the green flag is out and we are underway for the third and final stage. My car just does not go on the restart, and I'm assuming it's because of the contact I made after the caution. Now as Keselowski forces a 3 wide up the inside, an absolutely terrible restart for myself as we fall down to 7th or 8th place actually up the inside here of the 4 of Kevin Harvick. So not the restart we were looking for, and I was hoping that we could really get ourselves into a position to win this race, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen as we start lap 69. Nice, but now we're going to go into the AMP segment. Alright, there you heard the AMP segment there, the raw sound of the engines in this game, but we come through on lap 81 now, and we had gone nowhere. We were still running in P7, but fortunately for us, the AI would run down the lap traffic here now as we were closing in a little bit on the back of Keselowski, Matt Kenseth, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Matt DiBenedetto all up in front of us now as we go down this front stretch here, hitting lap 85. So only 41 laps to go at this point, but you can see once again side-by-side lanes going here, so that obviously makes it so much harder to get through. But we get up the inside of Matt Kenseth, who seems to be struggling the most right now out of this lap traffic because we're about to pass him and move him down into P7. Harvick might even be able to pounce and get up there up his inside as well now as we're going to be able to clear him into turns 3 as we get up the inside of John Hunter Nemechek. I get up on that curve a little bit, but no harm done. We come through out of turns 4, passing Ross Chastain, obviously not for position as we go down into the corner, but the car once again starting to get very loose as Harvick. He sent it up the inside 3 wide on myself, and Chastain pushes me way up the track. Very unexpected on that. That's not the first time someone's taken us 3 wide here today in Martinsville, but I was not very happy about that one. Again, kind of like I was with Hamlin, letting Harvick know about it though as we went down at this front straightaway, getting all into the back of him. I was planning to push him right into the corner, but then the caution comes out here in Martinsville with 37 to go. I nailed the car in front of me. The car behind me, I think, was Boyer. He ran into the back of me as well. Everybody though coming to the pit lane as DiBenedetto still leads. This could be the final restart of the race, so we need to really get these adjustments down. I actually loosened up the car just a little bit and was hopeful that I could manage it on the exit of the corner. and we would gain 2 positions on the pit lane, which is very good for us now, as I was hoping that we could get a little bit of luck to get us into a better spot. And now the green flag is back out, and once again, for the second restart in the row, because of the contact, the car just does not launch. But we got very lucky there to still get up the inside of Harvick, as well as actually get up the inside of Brad Keselowski. So in the end of the day, we didn't really lose much time as we go down towards turns 3. Keselowski looked like he was maybe clear for a split second. He could have dropped down, but he obviously didn't take it, so I take it instead. We climb up now into P4 as we have just 33 laps to go, so about the same length or so of just one of those first or second stages as we go down the front stretch, trying to put the pressure on Martin Truex Jr. with 30 laps to go. But I was struggling a lot to pass my teammate Martin Truex Jr. because he seemed to have more straightaway speed than I did. Like, I would get right up to the back of him, and then on the straightaway he just had such a good launch, and I was actually trying to move him, as you can see now at this point as we come through out of turns 4. He just had so much speed though in the car now, as I was just not able to make the pass. 25 laps to go at this point. DiBenedetto still leading over second place of Denny Hamlin, and I'm just stuck right there. I can't do anything to get past Truex because he was just able to be just fast enough down the straightaways to where I could not lunge up the inside of him. You'll see right here out of turns 4, you can see he just drives away, pulls away every time on that straightaway now as we come through out of turns 4. As you can see though, we're approaching the lap traffic with just 20 laps to go here in Martinsville for the Xfinity 500. Blaney just behind myself as I kind of overshoot the corner and left the door open for Ryan Blaney, who gets out my inside. A bit of a mistake on my part, and now the door has been left open, and we're going to drop down a position likely here as we go into turns 3. Kenseth back in behind us in P6, but we only lose 1 spot, fortunately, out of that now as we go down the front stretch. But you can see the lap traffic became in full effect at this point on lap 108. Hamlin got up the inside of DiBenedetto and would pass him for the lead. I get up the inside of Truex, pass him for 4th. Blaney now up the inside of DiBenedetto. He's going to pass him. I'm going to get up the inside of DiBenedetto. And now lap traffic is sure enough going to be what cost Matt DiBenedetto a potential victory here for the first time in his Cup Series career in Martinsville. So now we're up into P3 into turns 1. We get up the inside of Blaney, and look at this, we're up the inside of Denny Hamlin for the lead out of turns 2 now, as Brendan Gaughan in the way. Now we're going to move up into the lead, approaching just 15 laps to go. Truex following myself through, as well as we come through out of turns 4. So here we are, leading our first lap of the day at the paperclip now. Did not really expect it. Now as I go a little bit too deep though into turns 1, leaving the door open for my JGR teammate of Martin Truex Jr. As we slide out of turns 2, you can see the handling becoming an issue at this point now, as Truex in the lead for a very brief moment as we come through turn 3. I think we have the advantage though on the outside. We get to the outside of Chastain as I clip the wall just a tiny bit now, as the car is really starting to slip and slide as we go down into turns 1. Truex, Keselowski, Hamlin lined up just behind myself. As you see Joey Logano just in front of us. He had an incident earlier in this race, which was one of the reasons for the cautions. I can confirm Jimmy Johnson as well. He is out of this race here in Martinsville. He has had an issue. He is DNF. That was another reason for potentially one of the cautions as we come through up the inside of Logano. Trying to get through this traffic, we finally got past Logano. Then we would get up to the inside of Chad Fincham here, approaching 10 laps to go once we cross the line. So we get past all this big group of traffic, but unfortunately Hamlin, he had worked his way back in a second, and he would get through the traffic as well. So I knew right then I was in trouble, because Hamlin is way faster than I am here in Martinsville today. With 9 laps to go now, I run down Joey Gase as well as Quinn Hoff, but look who's run me down. Denny Hamlin already here now with less than 10 laps to go. So the pressure is on from our Joe Gibbs Racing teammate Denny Hamlin, as he is right on our back bumper, as I was hoping that we could get a lap car in between us both. As we exit turns 4, the pressure is on as we're side by side with the 00 as we go down into turns 1, and we go a little bit too deep again, and Hamlin gets up the inside. This time we don't have a lap car to protect Hamlin on the inside, so now it's all up to me to try and hold him off as we dive down into turns 3, approaching just 6 to go, and Hamlin clears me without a problem, but we get a good launch on the exit of the corner. I was able to control the looseness there, and now we're going to send it up the inside of Hamlin, not giving up here with 6 to go, knowing what's on the line. We could get ourselves locked into the playoffs and get our first ever win at Martinsville Speedway, but I got so loose on the exit of the corner, Hamlin's able to stay in front of me as I give him a bump into turns 3. He hangs on now as we come through out of turns 4, and I'm slipping and sliding again. Now there's one more lap car, Timmy Hill, that will probably affect this race now as we dive down into turns 1. Up the inside of Timmy Hill, Hamlin gets through without a problem. I'm sideways, we overcorrect, we hit the outside wall, big damage to the right hand side. I'm so sorry guys, I gave it everything right there. I just didn't have anything left in the car, and I overcorrected. I made a dumb mistake right there. Sorry guys.
Careful.
there you heard the radio transmission from myself. No caution came up because of that, and we're still in the race at least, still running P2, but you can just see the handling of the car was gone at this point. So I didn't really have much for Hamlin as he would run down Bobby Carter, pass him without a problem. So we came through approaching the final lap here in the paperclip, and you know, at the end of the day, we got to look at the bright side. We didn't have a car capable of winning this race, but we got ourselves in a position to have a chance at winning this race, as well as I'm just hanging on for dear life here. But we led some laps. Obviously, Hamlin got past me. I made a mistake, smashed the outside wall, but we're able to continue here to come through out of turns 4 for the second time this season. We're going to finish in the second position here in the Xfinity 500 at Martinsville Speedway. Hamlin, though, picks up the victory, and it continues all of the Joe Gibbs drivers having wins except for me. But still, at the end of the day, we had a good race. Top 10 in each stage, which ends the streak of the last 3 races without a top 10, which was a track I expected to end that streak at, of course. There you see the finishing order. Chase Elliott down in 23rd. You got to keep an eye on Chase Elliott. There you see Johnson 38th, 38 laps down. But like I said, Chase Elliott, we're done with the short tracks for a little bit, so I think this is going to be Chase Elliott's chance to shine now as Hamlin gets 3 wins on the season. There is 7 wins between our 3 JGR teammates right now that are all destroying us so far. But obviously, if you guys enjoyed this episode, you do know what to do. But now we got to check the point standings, of course, to see what is going on. Jimmy Johnson with the DNF. That is certainly not what you want to see for Jimmy Johnson, the 7-time champion, and his final season, of course. Now, is in the next one, we're going to Charlotte. So, a crown jewel race, the Coca-Cola 600. Obviously, high hopes going into that one. Back in the NASCAR Heat 4 career mode, this was the track in our rookie season that we got our first career win at. So, we're going to have to keep that in mind. And that was actually the only time we won at Charlotte. But hopefully we can do that again now, as you see the standings on your screen. So, we did gain some points. Of course, we're in 7th right now in the playoff standings, and the last one in is Kurt Busch. So he's hanging on for dear life right now. He is. But like I said, as always, if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. There you see Johnson now down to 22nd. Elliott 26th in the points. He's definitely got some work to do as well. There is, you see the rest of the order on your screen. Joey gets down in last. But I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch, everybody, and have yourselves a great day.